Even as we see here, one extreme, but here's what the problem is. Now listen carefully to this. What I've just shown you is the extreme. One extreme of the rat race. There's people who out of envy begin the race and then got stuck in it. Okay? Now let me show you the other extreme. There's another extreme in the rat race. Okay? Inevitably in the rat race, we also find that there are those who cannot keep up. Am I right to say that? You look at our society today, it's moving towards elitism, right? Those who can make it, really make it. But inevitably, when we take this route and this direction, there will be people who cannot keep up. And we are already seeing it in Singapore, people who just cannot keep up. Okay? And this will be the so-called dropouts. And verse 5 talk about this other group in the spectrum of the rat race. Look at verse 5. What does it say? The fool folds his hands and ruins himself. What is he talking about? He's talking about those who have shy away from the rat race, shy away from materialism, and then they go to the other extreme. What do? These guys fold their hands. What does folding your hands mean? Laziness. Do nothing, in other words. Let's just forget it, And then they destroy themselves with slothfulness. That's what happened in the hippie culture. And we are about to repeat that. In the 60s, how did we get a hippie culture? It's because they were protesting against the materialism of their parents in the 60s, you see. And so they decided to swing to the other extreme. So what do? They say, don't bother to study, don't bother to work hard. Let's just take our guitar, take our mat, go to the beach and just live our life there. And that's what they did. They fold their hands and ruin themselves with irresponsible living. That's the other extreme. Are you with me here? And that's a good analysis of what's going on in our world today. And he used the same figure of speech, folding your hands. Okay, why don't we look at that? Go to the end, you sluggard. Consider his ways and be wise. It is no commander, no overseer or ruler. Yet he stores his provision in summer, gathers his food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep, a little slumber, a little what? Folding of the hands to rest. And poverty will come on you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. See? That's the other extreme. One end, those addicted to the rat race. The other end, those who fall out. And then they destroy themselves with laziness. See? And so we see these two extremes. One, those who are caught up in the rat race. Two, those who ruin themselves with laziness. So, what then is the wise man's advice? As the wise one, the teacher, the philosopher, Solomon had to offer the people a better way. So he tried to do that. Okay? Let me give you his two pieces of advice. And I want you to notice he kept using the phrase, it is better. It is better. Okay? It is better. Okay? In other words, it's not the best, but it's just better to do this. Okay? Now, two pieces of advice are this, and I think it's good for all of us here as well. Number one, very practical advice. He says to us, contentment is better than contention. Contentment is better than contention. Look at verse 6 now. He says, better is one handful with quietness than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. I like that. Better is one handful with quietness at the end of the day than two handfuls chasing for more. Solomon is saying that the answer is not found in either extreme. The answer is not found in the rat race or in the dropout. The answer is found in the middle. It is not contention or contending for more all the time, but neither is it complacency. Do you understand where the thing is? On one end is the guy who is contentious all the time, wanting more. On the other end is the guy who is complacent, can't be bothered. He says the best is in the middle, contentment. So the answer is not contention, not complacency, but contentment. It is better to be contented with what you have at the end of an honest day's work and find rest to your soul than to strive and clamor for more. Do you agree with that? That is good advice. Don't strive, but rest. It's better to be contented with what you have, with an honest day's work, get an honest day's wages, and be contented with peace in your heart, than to be unhappy, discontented, dissatisfied, striving for more. Look at Proverbs 15. Let's all read that together, verse 16 and 17, shall we? Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and turmoil with it. Better is a dish of vegetable where love is than a fattened ox and hatred with it. So practical, New Testament also talk about this. Godliness with what? Contentment is great joy. I think Shakespeare illustrated this very well, in King Henry V, if you read the book before. One part of the story goes like this. The king one day decided to dress himself up in commoner's clothes, and just to go and meet the people without telling them, I'm the king. So he was walking along, talking to people along the street. He met a farmer on the way. And King Henry asked the farmer, so what do you do for a living? And the farmer said, I'm a farmer. He says, that's good. So the farmer in return asked him, so what do you do for a living? And the king said, oh, I'm a king. The farmer laughed. And then he said, you? If you are a king, then where is your crown? Where's your crown? And then the king gave this profound answer, which I put inside there. He says, my crown is in my heart, not on my head. Not decked with diamonds and precious stones. Not to be seen. My crown is called contentment. A crown that seldom kings enjoy. Amen. That's beautiful, Contentment is a crown that we all can wear. Do you know that? It's a beautiful thing. If you are a contented person, you stay in your 3-room flat, you're very happy also. But if you are not a contented person, you can stay in a bungalow and still be dissatisfied. And he says, I am a real king because the crown that I wear is called contentment. Even kings don't enjoy that. Contentment is truly a rare jewel and is definitely better than contention. And I challenge you today, if you are in that rat race, listen to this. Contentment is better than contention.